All right, so class is in session. In this video, I'm going to tell you exactly the 10 skills that you need to know in order to build a seven-figure revenue generating brand, right? And these 10 skills are the most important skills that you will need as far as building a brand is concerned and business. Because let's face it, you don't want to build a personal brand, right, off the basis of you just being well known and people just know your name. If it doesn't translate into revenue, I do not see the point of building a brand, right? We are here to build revenue generating brands over here. So if you like the sound of that, stay and watch the full video in completion, and you will have all the insights and the know how that you need to know in order to build a seven-figure brand. And if you don't know who I am, my name is Tariq Peters. I'm a brand authority strategist and I'm an accredited PR practitioner, right? And I help B2B founders and advisors build a level of brand authority, which is their personal brand multiplied by their business brand, multiplied by their campaign brand. When all those three brands align, you get to a level of brand authority that makes you more visible and credible to your desired target audience, right? And that would drive more leads and that will turn into more clients and ultimately more revenue for your business. So if you are interested in all things branding, marketing, and PR, please do subscribe and click in the description box down below and check out my Substack as I post content on there all the time, right? So let's just get locked in and grab a drink or whatever. I got my tea right here in hand, and we can just go through all of these 10 skills. And I honestly hope that it helps as well, because I've been incorporating a lot of these skills into the work I've doing, and it's been a game changer. So let's just get started, right? So the 10 skills you need to create a seven-figure brand, and we are going to start off with your product, right? What you deliver that creates a clear, valuable transformation people are willing to pay for, right? And when it comes down to your product, the thing with products, right, is that some people, they develop the product based on what they think would work rather than them actually building it off the back of what their ICP would want. And that is a thing that you need to really bear in mind and consider when it comes down to that. And reason being is because we spend a lot of time working on the things that we're working on, right? Building these particular products. But what is it that we actually do? What is the end result that we are looking to get for our client? What is the dream outcome, right? For me, it's about building that level of brand authority for my clients that makes them more visible and credible in order for them to turn that attention into revenue generating opportunity. Whether it comes down to getting more clients or whether it comes down to getting more paid engagements in whatever work they decide to do, whether it comes down to speaking opportunities or panels or corporate workshops or whatever the case. It's really about building that level of brand authority that makes more revenue generating opportunity possible. And I do that through the lens of PR and marketing, right? So that is my product. That is my product in terms of what I do and what I've been able to do and what I actually do for myself as well, whilst I showcase and document the journey of building a seven-figure brand. So the reason why I'm sharing this is because this is literally all the things that I'm incorporating and I'm applying into myself and my business each and every single day. So when it comes down to the end journey and the end result, when you see me reach all the things I said I would achieve, it's because of these particular videos. So because you're locked in, these are the insights that I'm more than happy to share with you as well. So with that is definitely the product. What is it that you are selling that you can ensure will provide that dream outcome for your client? And then it's about having your product something that is clear and concise in a way that is understandable for your desired target audience, right? So that is the first one, your product. So that is the thing. What is the transformation people are willing to pay for? And that part is important. So that's number one, right? Number one is the product. Number two, the offer. How your product is packaged, priced, and positioned to maximize conversion and perceived value, right? And this is quite tricky, to be honest with you, because when it comes down to your offer, you have your product, right? You have your product. The thing is, everyone has a product. Everyone does a thing. Everyone has a thing. Some people may even do the same thing as you, right? With me, with my background in PR, there's many PR practitioners around, right? Many people doing the things that I do when it comes down to PR. But what is it that makes me different? It's the offer. It's the way that I present my offer in a way that just makes it the obvious choice, because it provides all the things that are necessary that would be effective and efficient for my client, right? It's that idea that is packaged in a way that makes the most sense. It contains all that value in a way that just makes the most sense. You can have the best product in the world, but then if it's not packaged in a way that makes the most sense for your prospects, they just won't buy, right? You have to think of it. When you have a gift, right? When you have a gift and you're offering that gift to someone, you want that to be packaged in a way that is lovely and well prepped and is nice. And it's something that people would actually be like, I cannot wait to dive into this offer because it's been packaged so nicely. So that is how you need to consider it when it comes down to that. And a lot of it comes down to what I tend to say with my clientele as well, is that when you look into what the offer is as well, like fair enough, you have your product, but what are the additional things that you can add into your offer that makes it stand out, that makes it unique to you, right? And then when I have developed my phases brand authority system, for example, and then I've developed my offer based on that, it provides all of the actual steps that are needed in order for you to turn that your brand into revenue, right? It's the whole process of how you are able to do that. And through the process of doing that, you actually upskill and learn about what actually works as far as PR is concerned, as far as marketing is concerned, as far as content strategy is concerned. All those things has been packaged in a way that follows a process. It follows a process in a way that you are able to develop and transform off of the back of how I positioned and packaged the offer. So, like I said, you can have the best product in the world, the best sort of offer service that you do, but if you don't have it packaged in a way that makes the most sense for your ICP and your target audience, then it'll be unlikely to be something that they will actually want to buy and purchase, and effectively want to work with you to be showing them the process of how you are able to help them achieve their dream outcome. So that's the offer. That's number two. Number three, marketing, right? How you define your audience and position your brand and communicate your value to attract the right people. And with that, you need to also think of that very carefully, because we're going to get into the rest of the video as well with all the additional steps. But the marketing is the one that is more closely associated with how you are able to drive into the idea of sales, right? You have garnered the attention now. You have the offer in place and you have the product, right? But then how are you able to market that to those who will be interested in your services? And through that, then you need to be able to then establish, okay, what is my marketing strategy for how I'm able to amplify my efforts and to let people know what I'm able to do, what I'm able to offer as a result, and how I'm able to help them with their dream outcome. And through the elements of marketing, how am I able to make myself more visible and present myself as the obvious choice through the way that I'm producing my content, the way that I'm amplifying my work across various different platforms. It's through that marketing that will then allow you to understand exactly what it is that makes your ICP gravitate towards you, and then what it is that what it is that is able to make them transition from knowing you based on now you garner that attention into the process of getting them into the process of the buyer journey that you have developed and you have crafted and created off the back of you wanting to attract this particular ICP into your ecosystem through your marketing efforts, right? So that is one thing that you need to consider and bear in mind in the process, and one of the top skills that you need to be incorporating within your brand in order to get the desired results that you want as well. So then that's number three, right? If I've calculated that right, three. So number four, we have distribution. How you consistently reach and build attention with your audience through owned platforms and content, right? And if you've watched my videos, you'll know I talk a lot about the idea of not just having your social media platforms, right? Like your LinkedIn, your Substack, and your YouTube, which are the core platforms that I work on, right? And I work on with my clients. But also, you need to also think about your owned media. which is effectively the media that you are responsible for, you have ownership of. And those things can be down to your website, for example, where people go on your website, it's all you. It has all the information based on you. It has all the insights based on you. It is your world and your ecosystem, and you are inviting people into your ecosystem, right? So that's one owned channel that I can mention. Another one is your newsletter. When you develop a newsletter and you actually start to build an email list, right, you are able to then nurture the people who rock with you, the people who wanted to be involved in what you have to say and involved in what you do for not only yourself but for your clients. And they want to know how they can get involved. They want to know what sort of gems and tips you can share with them that can help them with whatever they need help with, right? Those are the things that you need to focus on just as much as the social platforms as well. The social platforms are important, but you also need to have a diverse aspect of how you are able to produce said content, right? And in my videos, I talk a lot about what I do with the Phases Brand Authority system, right? And one of the particular systems within that is the authority flywheel. And with that, I talk about the importance of having your core platforms, and then you're able to amplify across the secondary platforms. And when you have a way that you are able to strategize and develop a content strategy that focuses on building on your primary platforms and then using your secondary platforms as amplifiers, that is a great way in order for you to distribute effectively. So that is definitely one that I would say is important as a skill. So next, we have advertising, right? So how you amplify proven strategies using paid channels to scale reach, leads, and opportunities. And if you watch my content, you would say, or I would tell you that this isn't a paid media channel, right? This is earned media. We focus on PR and third party credibility, which is very much true. However, advertising is important. I cannot discredit or say that it's not good, because it is. And it all comes down to when you use it at the right time. If you use it too early in your journey, then it can be a cash loss, because you could be burning money rather than reinvesting that money into other channels that make the most sense, right? But then if you use it in the time where you are consistently generating a good amount of revenue based on the work that you're doing, and then you are able to then include the advertising within your strategy of how you are able to get more leads and get more opportunities and turn those leads into clients, then ultimately at some stage when you are able to do that, then the idea of being able to include paid ads within your full strategy is a genius move, when you then know that the money that you are putting in regarding the ads, you're getting 2x out, 3x out, 4x out. You need to then understand that on the basis of being able to effectively develop ads, and develop the effective ads that are able to garner those leads, right? And you don't want to be that person, right? You don't want to be that person where they spend a lot of money on ads. They spend a lot of money on the paid ads, but then when the lead goes cold, you just leave them there. You need to realize that there is a cost per lead, right? You effectively can calculate the cost per lead that you get, and every time that you decide that you're going to give up on that particular lead, that's money going down the drain. So for me, I would say that the paid ad part is incredibly important, but it's a specialist skill that I would say that you need to then work alongside someone who knows what they're doing when it comes down to the paid ad thing. You can do little bits as well based on what your understanding of it is. I have a fair understanding of paid media, but then like I said, my bag is in PR and the idea of marketing and third party credibility and those things as well, based on my Phases Brand Authority system. However, with the ad side of things, I would only advise that on the basis that you already have a system and a way that you are able to scale when you use the paid ads more so as an amplifier, knowing that you have a product that people want, an offer that people are gravitating to, a marketing strategy that people are aligning themselves with, and they want to be learning more about you, and they go into the ecosystem as a result, and the distribution spot on as well, and you know how you are able to funnel these particular leads into your ecosystem and into the buyer journey off of the back of you being able to incorporate the right ads for the right time. So that's what I'm saying. It is very somewhat easy to do, but it can be a bit more complex when it comes down to doing it more effectively, right? But at the same time, I can't knock it. Advertising is a good move as far as those 10 skills that I mentioned that you need to incorporate to build a seven-figure brand, right? So that's that one. So let's move on. PR, how external validation builds trust, credibility, and reputation at scale through third party platforms, right? And like I said, PR is my bag. I've been in the industry for almost a decade, right? I've been in the game, right? I got PR week 30 under 30. I've been there, done that in that sort of regard, right? But with the PR part, I feel that a lot of people tend to disregard or they tend to forget about it because effectively it's a lot more work in terms of your level of third party credibility for you to then position yourself as a key person and the obvious choice through the lens of earned media. It takes work, it takes effort, it takes support, right? With you being able to get yourself out there to the right platforms and the right publications and the right press, the right podcasts, all those things at the right time, it takes that level of support and that guidance in order for you to be able to turn those opportunities into earned media opportunity for you to showcase yourself as a key person of influence and the obvious choice within your niche and within your industry. But at the same time, you have to understand how are you then using that PR to incorporate within the overall strategy, right? Because you can either use PR as a way to profile raise and to get your name out there, to get yourself more visible and credible in the process. But then where are you leading them to, right? If you do PR and then your name is out there and you're putting yourself out there in the process of your PR strategy, how are you leading them? Are you leading them to anywhere? If you do not have your offer sorted, if you do not have your product in place, right? If you do not have your distribution channels, all these things, they interconnect with each other. These are all things that line up. So you need to ensure that when you have your PR strategy involved and you are able to build that level of third party credibility and you are able to effectively become the obvious choice in the process, now that people know that, where are you leading them to? And that is the approach that is just as important. You can get all the coverage in the world, all the press, all the podcast opportunities. If you do not lead these warm leads into a system, into the journey, then it's wasted effort. Because, like I said, we're not here for vanity metrics. We're not here for vanity metrics for you to be perceived as the obvious choice. We're not converting those opportunities in a way that makes the most sense for you, right? Okay, so now we covered PR. Let's move on. What's next? Sales. How you convert attention and interest into revenue through structured conversations and decision making, right? And the reason why I laugh, right? The reason why I laugh is because sales is key for everything. Sales is everything, honestly. And I'm not from a sales background, right? Like I said, my background is in PR. However, in the grand scheme of things, everything involves sales. Everything, the foundation of everything is sales. If you don't know how to sell, then you don't know how to be able to put your product in a way that is sellable. You're not able to put your offer in a way that people want to buy from. You are not able to then be able to get people on calls where you're able to close and you're able to generate revenue through the output of sales. So for me, I would argue to say that this is probably one of the most important things on this list, right? As I mentioned, everything is interlocked with each other. Everything plays a role and a position in a way for you to build a seven-figure brand using these particular skills, right? But as far as sales is concerned, you if you learn anything in this life, right, and for me, I'm not even going to be biased because, like I said, PR is my bag, my main skill, my main set of expertise amongst the other sort of things. However, with sales, once you get that correct, you can never go wrong because you know the process, you understand the psychology, the human behavior of what makes people want to buy. And when you're then able to incorporate that within your offering and you're able to then have a heightened idea of how you're able to position your product, to those who need it, then is a game changer. So ultimately, sales for me is up there as a top, but for the sake of this video, I'm just going through the process of what these 10 particular skills are. But sales, I would say, do not lack on the idea that sales is incredibly important for you to build a 7-figure brand and beyond, right? Everything in our lives is sales, so I cannot state that enough, but we're going to move on. So next, customer success. How you deliver results, retain clients, and expand revenue through repeat business, upsells, and referrals, right? And it speaks for itself. Once you're in a position where you have now delivered on the element of sales, you've now been able to lock in a opportunity with multiple clients now. How do you find the success? You need to now work on your delivery. You need to now make sure that the dream outcome that you promise them, effectively, you get it done. You get it done, and you get it done to the point where they're not only happy with the result, they don't just feel that you've done an amazing job, but they have done it in a way where they feel that you have played a significant part in their success and a significant part in changing the trajectory of their lives off the back of you being able to provide a stellar service, right? So with that, you then need to think, okay, now in the process of doing that, what am I now doing in the idea of customer success? What am I doing to then ensure that they are now not only immersed in my ecosystem, but immersed in the whole aspect of I do fantastic work to the point where they would love to have me on board for a longer duration of time, knowing that I can continue to help them on the basis of improving and developing and refining their skills over time. These are all the things that make the most sense. And off the back of that, and you doing a good job as well, they are going to recommend you. They're going to refer you to other people within their industry and their niche that you specialize in, as a way to say that, you know what, this person has done this for me, so I have a good feeling they can do this for you. And when you're in a position where you focus on that level of customer success and doing everything to the best of your ability, to the point where everyone just speaks well about your name and they speak highly about your name, that is when we take things to a whole new level. So customer success as a skill is incredibly important amongst the 10 that I'm sharing with you, right? So next, data and analytics. How you measure performance, identify bottlenecks, and optimize decisions across your entire system. And a lot of businesses, a lot of freelancers, solopreneurs, entrepreneurs, wherever you fit within that, a lot of people tend to disregard the idea of the data and the analytics. And I feel that it's because some people are not necessarily good with numbers, right? They don't necessarily like the idea of data and just having to see loads of numbers. But the special element of you being able to understand the numbers is being able to look at the data, and the data being able to tell a story. And when you're in a position where you are able to translate those numbers into an actual story, you are then in a prime position to then identify what's working, what's not working, what can be improved, what can be refined as a result of changing this or switching this up or doing this differently or incorporating this into your sort of strategy, right? Or your content strategy or your earned media strategy. Data and analytics, it all comes down to the idea of you being able to read your strategy. You read your strategy through the numbers and the data that is presented in a way where you can improve on it and you can make it better. And when you are able to then see all those potential bottlenecks within the data, or you're able to see where things are actually going well, right? That's when you can double down on things. That's when you can start to improve on different areas as well. That's when you can start to see where the revenue is coming from, right? When it comes down to the data side, when you have diversified your content in a way where there's various revenue streams coming from different content platforms, right? Or different social media platforms, you then need to start looking at the data and the analytics and then think to yourself, okay, now I know that there's a potential set of revenue from this particular channel, but then we know that this part is our strongest. Once you have an idea of that, then you're able to diversify and you're able to then include the relevant marketing strategies and the techniques in order to then know what you are going to be doing in terms of getting more people into this particular channel for them to go into your funnel, right, into the buyer journey. In a similar vein, from the advertising side of things, when you know the data, then you're able to read the data, so then you know whether you putting out paid ads is actually taking money from you and you're actually burning money, or whether you're able to triple your income or quadruple your income off the basis of you incorporating the paid ads and actually using the data and the analytics to showcase if it is actually worth your time and your effort in the process of things, right? So with all these things in mind, the data, it tells a story. It's in your best interest to be the one that can read and be able to look at these numbers in detail in order for you to see what's working and what's not working. And by all means, if numbers isn't necessarily for you or you don't like the idea of it, you can use the AI tools. There's so many AI tools you can start to incorporate now. But I would advise to just work with someone directly or have someone that works within your team, within your company, within your organization that knows how to crunch those numbers into actionable insights and things that you can implement over time. So that's that side of things. What is next? Partnerships and channels. And I believe that's actually number 10. How you grow through leverage by accessing other people's audiences, platforms, and distribution networks, right? And you know, strategic partnerships. I talk about this all the time. In my phases framework, one of the S's, strategic partnerships, is key. It's how you are able to have that level of borrowed credibility. And you are then able to work alongside people in various different places, right? Whether it comes down to people within your industry or your niche or just people that you meet over time, where you are then able to collaborate with each other, work with each other on things. I always stress the importance of that you cannot go alone in business. You cannot go alone thinking that you can do everything yourself, because that's not the case. But for you working on the idea of working on those particular partnerships, and you're then able to connect and collaborate with people in a way that can increase the amount of people that know you, and you're able to get that borrowed credibility. And with that level of borrowed credibility, that then leads to borrowed trust, right? And when you have that trust and you are able to then attract additional people from various different partnerships that you have developed over time or various different channels, then it only makes sense as to how you can use that to then increase your awareness of who you are for people who see you and they know what you do, your expertise, all the things that make you uniquely you, right? That make you the key person, the obvious choice as mentioned. And then when you then start to do that, and then you build a system of being able to make effective partnerships over time, that will only lead into bigger opportunity, right? Because you're just in a position where people who you may have not even necessarily crossed paths with, or you may have not necessarily been in their sort of zone, right? As far as when it comes down to content or producing content or being in these particular events, right? Or being in these particular networking opportunities or speaking engagements or whatever the case, you putting yourself out there as a collaborator and someone that believes in the idea of mutual exchange in a way that can benefit you and someone else is a key way in terms of you being able to navigate time and time again, right? So that's it. That is it for the 10, right? And before I even end this, what did I have here? Comment below what skills you have, right? Because with the skills that I've mentioned, the skills, some of the skills you will naturally have based on the work that you have been doing, based on the work that you have started doing or whatever the case. But there will be things on this list that you know that is not your strongest suit, or you may not be particularly good at, or you see that word and your brain just switches off because you're thinking this does not align with me at all. I'm not a fan. With that in mind, it's in your best interest to focus on the things that you're good at, the things that you're strong at, the things that you know that you can do to the best of your ability. And then you then look at the particular ones that I've mentioned that you feel isn't a particular strong suit for you, and you ensure that you outsource and you delegate and you pay and you invest your money in people that you know can get the job done or that can help you get the job done. On the basis of business, right? You are investing in yourself to continue to scale and to build and to generate more revenue, right? So off the back of that, it's in your best interest to have a list or an idea of those particular people who slot into the areas that you know that you are not good at, or you know those are your sort of weaker points when it comes down to business. And when you start to understand that, and then you start to literally put your money where your mouth is, you then get to see how you are able to build and scale and to develop and grow, right? So just before the end of the video, I'm going to click all the way back so I can just give you the full list again, just for reference. And I want you to look at those skills. As I go through them, just have a look through, see which ones you, matter of fact, you can even grab a pen and a paper and go through the 10 that I mentioned, and you rank them based on 0 to 10, right? Or 1 to 10, based on 1 being weak or not so good at, or 10 being the strongest. I can do this myself, in fact. So let me just share my screen again for context, right? So for number 1, again, we have product. Number 2, we had offer. Number 3, marketing. Number 4, distribution. Advertising, number 5. PR, number 6. Sales, number 7. Customer success, number 8. Data and analytics, number 9. And partnerships and channels, number 10. So as mentioned, comment below what skills you have, please, because I'm interested to know what skills you have and what skills you feel you're strongest in. But I'm also interested to know what skills you feel like you can benefit from by getting the support from other people, right? And if you got this far to the end of the video, thank you. I hope that this helps, because honestly speaking, these 10 skills are skills that I'm incorporating with myself in real time as I'm documenting this journey of building a 7-figure brand. And on the basis of that, I've done the same exercise myself. I know what skills I effectively I'm good at and strong at, and the ones that I can improve on, or I need to invest my money into getting that additional support so I can continue to scale. So like I say, all the things that I share with you in these videos that I teach you and I document and showcase, I go through the same process of doing it as well, right? Every single thing. And that's why I know that these are the 10 skills that you need to be incorporating in order to build that 7-figure brand, right? So I hope that this video was useful, as I mentioned, and please make sure you like, comment, and subscribe. And if you like this video as well, let me know, because there's many more videos that I can do like this. And if you want to see more videos that's more insightful and more in-depth when it comes down to the idea of what I'm doing in building a 7-figure brand, make sure you click in the description box down below and check out my Substack. I'm posting content all the time on there. You can't miss it. So many gems. But on that note, look after yourself, look after, peace out, and I'll catch you tomorrow.